talking about?
We're talking about people being too damn sensitive.
What do you mean by that?
Uh, you can't say shit anymore. Like, for example, even our kids, like I say, our kids, they're freaking sensitive, or they cry about everything, or something you say to them, they just get their feelings hurt like super easy. And I just feel like people are too damn sensitive today. And it's changed from like what it was when we were like younger. I see like a big difference in like how the only thing I can really compare anything to is our kids, just because I've been there their whole life and watched them grow up. But like they're like really sensitive to stuff where I feel like we kind of had like a suck it up attitude.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, sensitivity is good. It's good to be sensitive to certain things in some aspects, but
You don't think
as
people?
far as like just dealing with life, there's a survival aspect to it, and people are too sensitive in certain aspects. Like I don't really know how to put my finger on it.
Can you give like an example? Like maybe like have you seen things like for? I mean, I know you go to work a lot, so maybe you've seen things like on the job or like people who are too sensitive there.
Well, we're definitely more politically correct in trying to be sensitive in the workplace and things like that.
But you don't think people overdo it? I think people overdo it. Like I think.
People, it's unnatural. It's unnatural. Makes people unnatural.
Yeah, but it's happening more so, especially in the generations like coming up. It's just it's bad. Like people can't that you can't joke around. You can't make a joke. Someone's questioning things.
Funny enough, in my workplace, we can actually do that. We make some pretty fucked up jokes,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in the military, so
but like to an extent, even
you think it goes.
in the military, even now, today's day and age, there's like, we draw a line.
Do you,
It's not like even when I first joined, it used to be like way worse.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you think it's gotten worse, I mean,
No, it's yeah.
even in like my some of my friendships and stuff, I feel like people are like extra sensitive to stuff, like maybe like how you parent and stuff, because like
Now it's good to be sensitive to certain things, but I'm someone who's all about it, there has to be a balance in all things. Can't be too hot, can't be too cold. For example, you know, there has to be a balance with things, and that's kind of where I stand on most things. There has to be a balance.
and I understand that too, but I feel like people have lost their sense of balance. Like they don't really. I feel like the sensitivity is almost kind of being taught unintentionally. Like, cause with the
I think it
boys,
is. I think it's
I feel like I've taught them to be a little bit sensitive. Just how I like try to, the saying like, oh, I want you to have a better life than I did.
you have
You know.
you've put that in their subconscious.
Yeah. But
I think.
I worry how that's going to impact them in their future, or if it is just based off of like. But when I grew up, like we had a suck it up attitude, like oh, like our parents working and stuff. We were kind
Granted, I want the kids, not to mean to cut you off, I want the kids to be like tough and be able to deal with shit. But there's certain aspects as far as like sensitivity that you've put me in check where it establishes that balance where maybe I was too harsh based on shit that I went through, where I had bad habits, bad toxic habits from my childhood that I kind of carried over, and you kind of helped me put me in check in that, as far as that goes. But I still want to establish that toughness. It's kind of hard to explain, but you wanna be sensitive to a certain extent. Care about your kids, care about their well-being, who they are as an individual, and not make them feel inferior, things like that, looked down upon. But you still want to establish like a sense of just this underlying like grit and toughness in them that will just keep them going. You don't want them to have a victim mentality or something like that.
Yeah, but it almost seems like we're kind of like in society as a whole, not like just with our kids, but like in society as a whole, we've kind of like a lot of kids are like how our kids are as far as just like emotionally sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that like that perseverance attitude, you know, like go-getter attitude. They're just like, I see.
Well, they're also kids.
Yeah.
They're not going to have that yet.
Yeah, of course. But, I mean, still, you
But look at Aiden. It's my little brother, Aiden. He's only like a few years older than Tristan. He has that attitude, that drive, that perseverance. And he's pretty much in the same generation as Tristan for the most part.
Yeah, but I feel like as far as just like the parenting style, because I feel like the parenting style also matters too. Like it doesn't always change with the generation. Like sometimes for all the kids, even though like maybe a mom has a kid and her kids are born in different generations, but her parenting style is the same, where they lack certain things that help them like be more comfortable being sensitive. Like for more example, the kids, they both get that what can I call it, like they get like a sense of comfort and stuff around me, so I feel like that's why they like whine and cry and all that, and I'm always like there to rescue them and stuff, whereas like I feel like Aiden, his lifestyle is different tremendously in comparing like to him or to the boys. So it's just like I feel like Aiden kind of dealt with a lifestyle almost similar to yours, which I feel like that's why he has kind of like a similar mindset. Not like a thought process, but I'm just saying like as far as you guys like go getter, like set your mind to something, do it. Like y'all have that similar mindset, even down to your other brother.
We also have similar DNA too, so I think that probably plays a part, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you think that we can change a way, like as a whole, as far as just like what we're doing as a society to help our children not be so sensitive? And honestly, it like we're focusing on our children right now, I guess, because like that's what I spend a lot of my time like doing, like around my kids and stuff like that. But even adults are freaking sensitive. Like you can't even call shit gay anymore. Like you can't say like certain stuff even joking anymore because like someone's wearing their fucking feelings on their sleeve, you know what I mean? Or like ready to get pissed off because they're taking what you're saying personally, where they don't know like what even your intention is behind saying what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people are just so quick nowadays, like, and I don't know what what influences that behavior, because it's more common today that you see people wearing their feelings on their sleeve, or
there's an imbalance. It's an imbalance, right? So the leftist of society feel like we went too far right, and they started to move us to this weird too far left realm, and obviously influencing and manipulating the population through the media, the news, the social media, different things that are being put out slowly over time through the education system. And you know, you see all these things, and it's just generally changed like the next generation and how they've been raised, and the culture, and it's a lot of things. It's an agenda for a certain aspect of people, I think, on one side of the aisle, that think they're doing the right thing, and in some senses I think they are,
right,
but you can't be too hot or too cold. You have to have that balance.
Yeah, but it's like I do believe that people have gotten too sensitive, and I think that having a balance is just good as far as just like coexisting with other people. It just makes your life easier when you have a balance. And like, I mean, do you think that people nowadays are sensitive to get a reaction, or they're like actually feeling?
I think both. It depends on the person. Like, people are complex. It's kind of hard to say. You know, you might have that person who's, I don't know, I really don't even know how to explain it. He's looking for that reaction.
Yeah.
But on some level, he actually believes it. I don't know how to explain it, really.
It's almost like sensitivity is like a learned behavior or something that we've adapted.
Everything is.
Well, yeah, it is.
And we have habits.
We've adapted to just being because even me, like, sometimes I'm too fucking sensitive about shit. Like, just certain stuff.
I
like
mean, I am too.
It's
Even
just like
everybody is.
But I feel like
we're a product of our environment to some extent.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the factors of like the way things are in our environments and how we're existing right now and the things that we're dealing with in our economy and stuff also like play a factor too, as far as like the stress levels that people are feeling, which can make them sensitive to like other people or other things, you know, or like
sensitivity is okay. It's a natural thing, I think. You don't want to be numb. You know, you don't want to just be numb to things.
Yeah.
You know, because then you fall into the influence of just being influenced on what you see and what you hear on some level. Then you're being manipulated in that way because you're numb. And then if you're too sensitive, then you're being manipulated in that way because you're too sensitive. People are feeding off your emotions. So there's always that aspect of you have to have that balance of sensitivity as well as clear, rational thinking. Take a breath, see what the fuck is really going on.
I mean, has anybody ever been like mad at you because like they were being too sensitive, or maybe to something that you did, and then it was actually you that was being the one that was like being too sensitive? Does that make any sense, or do I need to reword that? I was trying to make it come out the best way I could.
Say it again.
Okay, like, do you have a story, like, or something that you can like share where like maybe like how you've learned how to like find balance, where, because you said like you need to have balance and stuff in your life, so I'm sure you've been through things that like help you find balance, where you've had to like realize you were lashing out about something maybe you thought somebody else was being sensitive about, but really you were the problem in the situation and you were being overly sensitive. Because I think we all have to admit that
yes.
we're like sensitive to certain things.
Yes, but right now I cannot cipher through my brain and pick a particular story to tell on that. But yes.
So I mean, like, with that being said, because like that was what was gonna be the question at the end of that, was, do you think that we should be growing emotionally in the way that we're growing that makes us as sensitive as we are, or do we need to like be implementing other things to help us like coexist together better?
What exactly are you asking? We definitely need to be growing. We definitely need to be growing with our sensitivity. We just need to make sure that it's rational. That what we're feeling also has fucking common sense with it. We got to be able to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I think people are like, I get where you're coming from, but I feel like people are just like, I get having a balance, I get all of that, but I just feel like people are just fucking like extra like wearing their fucking shoulder on their sleeve. It's like a lot of people like
Their sleeve on their shoulder.
wearing their feelings on their sleeve. That's what I meant. But like freaking, leave me alone. I feel like they people just like want to argue. Like and then the phones are out because now we have all these electronics and things. We can make videos, we can record stuff, we can put it on the internet, we can, get likes and stuff. So
I
it's
think
just
all
like
that's human nature. That's just a negative aspect of human nature. To want to argue, to want to do these things, right? People
it's
who
just so
haven't been
bad.
enlightened to a certain aspect of being a human, that want to be that way. We all have that potential.
But then it makes you have to be sensitive to like their behavior, and then that shit makes you act out of damn character. Because like when somebody's just like fucking like just looking for some argument, you know what I
do.
mean?
There's
It's
always
just
a
like
conflict. There's always a conflict to survive.
it's just like really unhealthy, the circumstances, and I feel like we're our own worst enemy. I feel like some people just don't know how to take a joke. They don't know how to play around. They're too serious about stuff. They don't know how to
The thing
lighten
is,
up a
too,
little
though,
bit.
sometimes when you, I'm just speaking like from experience and how I can understand this. Like, I can take a joke. I can take some pretty fucked up jokes, right? I cannot be offended, right? But when you come from a lens of like trust issues, or like trust issues, you don't really trust this other person, this other group. You've been through certain things in your life, right? Negative things, and this joke is made towards you or this group of people, and you don't know if it's passive aggression or an actual joke.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's always that in play. It depends on the person that you're dealing with.
but I feel like everybody, like you said, you have to like have a balance.
Yeah,
So
you
you
do.
have to have common sense. Like you can't
But
just
not everybody
like
does based on their experience and their upbringing.
right, but that brings us back to like how we're raising the kids and how we're impacting them. Cause like I don't care. Like the way that I see kids cry today, like I did not do that shit when I was growing up. I did not do that when my mom said no. When people were picking on me at school and stuff like that, I wasn't finna fucking sit back and get like let a little kid talk crap to me. Like no, we're finna have a roast battle. Like I'm gonna take up for myself.
But still, like even when you were kids, our parents were kids. There's always the kid who's gonna let somebody bully them. There's still always those people too.
Right.
Just saying.
I mean, I definitely believe in having balance, but I feel like people need to get a fucking grip and learn how to laugh a little bit. Not be so serious. Care about, you know, letting their kids work for things and stuff like that. You don't have to always cater to their needs, like sometimes, because like that's the future. We're raising the future, and I feel like not asking this very question or having this conversation and just not even thinking about that, then we don't care about the future generation coming up and the differences that they have from our generation, because like a lot of these kids nowadays, like teenage stuff, they don't really want to get a job and shit.
Well, that's where the conspiracies come into play, and people think the same things that we're thinking, and on different levels and
What do you mean?
in different ways, and then the conspiracies come into play. Of, is this all planned? Is there an agenda to, which I think there is probably on some level, and we're having to fight back against that. But is there an agenda, a plan on some level to make sure the youth coming up think and feel and act a certain way so they will carry out their lives in a certain way and lead to a new way of living and governance, and it's a strategy, for example, to lead towards like a socialist or like a communist society
That would be.
where there's equal outcomes and everybody's on. I don't really.
And
know.
I feel like that's what like I see that train of thought in the younger generation. Like I seen this video the other day of these kids like, like it's almost like maybe they were at home and they were hearing their parents and what they believe, or maybe their friend and their parents' belief or something, and they had to do like a school project or something like that, where it was like a spoken poetry or something, where they like did all this stuff in front of the class or whatever, and it just seemed like super just like one-sided, like influential thoughts. Like I can't bring myself to believe like some of the stuff like they were saying, like just equal opportunities and stuff like that. I believe in treating people equally as far as respect, but just like how like some of the problems that we're dealing with in the world, like I just feel like it's common sense to know like there can't be that in every scenario, and we need to understand that as a whole. But I feel like our kids are just like sensitive, and I don't know, I'm just worried of how that might impact the future. It's just like the things that I'm seeing, and it's really with like the younger kids, like Gen Alpha and stuff, like those kids.
What exactly are you worried about, though?
I'm just worried about like how they're so like they grew up, they're born into a generation basically where they have electronics, AI, like all of that. They're like tech savvy. You know what I mean? Like
Which is fucking crazy. Imagine if we had like AI as a kid.
No, literally, we had like AOL chat rooms, like
What
go in
the
there,
hell?
fucking roast people, and
Like,
get out of that shit
I
at
would
the end of
just
the day
cheat
and
on
do it
all
again
my
the next.
homework.
No,
What the hell?
literally, it's crazy. But I just feel like as far as like
I use AI at my work.
No, I use AI
I
literally
literally
almost every
use
day.
there's a military AI, official military government AI
What the
system,
hell?
and there's like a version 2 now, and I literally use it at work to help me like analyze certain things. I basically put in like instructions and publications, directives,
Yeah.
and I copy and paste it into the AI and have it analyze the whole fucking thing in like 2 seconds, and then I give it the human aspect of like the human rationale and common sense of how we interpret things, and then I'll say
crazy.
like, hey, let's take this.
That's crazy.
Tell me, is this what's wrong with this this sit rep? What's wrong with it? And it'll tell me like, based on this, according to this instruction, this is what's wrong with the sit rep. Blah, 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 blah. And then if it gets something like kind of wrong, or it's like overstepping, I'll be like, well, look at it this way, like in reality, I just explain the human aspect and the common sense aspect of a human to it, so it doesn't get too robotic in how it analyzes things. But I use AI to help me with certain things in work as well.
But I mean, don't you like being like, and I'm by no means I'm saying like you're a lazy worker, but I'm just saying like, don't you think that's kind of like makes you be a little bit more like, oh, I can kind of relax a little bit because I got AI on my side kind of helping me. I don't have to
an extent,
like
some people might, like the dumb I don't know, the dumb person might, right? But
yeah.
I use AI as a tool to help me. I think AI is a good thing.
Yeah, no,
I think it's a good
so
thing,
too. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for
with
sure.
balance.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I use it, right, and then it gives me the feedback, but I have enough common sense and intelligence to understand that it's giving me the feedback based on exactly what I've taught it, the exact instructions and the publications, the information that I gave it. It's a fucking computer. It's not a human. It's gonna give me feedback based on like exact specific things. So then some of the information that it gives back to me, it's like it's a little bit too critical or overlooking common sense in certain areas where I have to be like, then I have to go and type some stuff, go back, teach it. No, like, this is actually okay because of this or that.
Yeah.
I have to teach it the human aspect. So it's a tool that helps me skim through a lot. It just helps me a lot, but then I still have to do some work
Yeah,
to give it because it's not a human.
But
I'm a human.
But the thing is, it's like you know, like you have it instilled in you, like hard work ethic and things like that. Because AI was introduced to you at a later time.
Yeah.
But the kid, sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. But the kids, they like for them, they've pretty much like grown up on that as far as just entertainment purposes, not just for work or things like that. That they're using that for entertainment. So I feel like some of them and creative, like because I know the kids like use it to be creative and other positive, beneficial things or whatever. But I feel like because they're already overly sensitive, because how us parents, which most of the Gen Alpha and even some of Tristan's generation, I can't even think of it, Gen Z. Yeah. Okay. So some Gen Z are raised by freaking millennials. So it's like because they're already kind of sensitive and they have access to all of this crazy ass technology and shit. You know what I mean? I feel like it's almost kind of like a dangerous mix. And we're already like too fucking sensitive, which I understand like it's natural to be sensitive, but I feel like it's already like even just like the race shit, like just dealing with that over and 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 over, and it's fucking outdated and worn out. Like, and of course I know that shit like that really goes on all the time, but you're just always seeing it on TV. It's just like it's being fed to us type shit, and then like the kids being in the situation that they are, also experiencing some of the things that we did while we were growing up, and now they're in their own little freaking timeline of shit that we didn't experience at their age, and they're already just kind of like just emotionally intact, which I feel like I do kind of think that's a good thing too, like to be in tune with your emotions, because I do feel like the kids like think about, have a better emotional like outlook on things as far as like compared to like how I was when I was their age, you know what I mean? But I still feel like it's just the times that we're in, it just almost seems like it could be a bit dangerous.
Yeah. Could definitely be dangerous. And everything could be dangerous.
And I think that's what like scares me. It's just like, especially for just the kids, it's just like I don't want them to be like not being able to like work a freaking job and like put an ethic because they rely on electronics,
Yeah,
and
that's a fear, right? But there's a responsibility of the parent, and I know that my kids are not going to be like that, because I know I'm not going to let them be like that. So there's an aspect of responsibility that you have to have as a parent and an adult, a mature human being,
yeah, I see that.
to
I feel that.
have that balance and establish that balance in your children, because we went through different challenges when we were kids. We different aspects of society and life and influence, and now our kids have this influence of major technology, being super tech savvy, always with the screen and AI and virtual reality, which is crazy. I couldn't imagine that when I was like 5 years old and I had virtual. Literally, I remember when I was like less, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, I had a thing that I put on my head. It was a virtual reality. It was like it was a little video game that I remember. It was just like some 2D video game that was just like on my head. That was virtual reality. I couldn't imagine being the guy's age.
I know, and having
being immersed
dude, like going to space.
in those worlds.
When I went to space on Tristan's Oculus, I like when they first got it, like.
But what's crazy though,
I lost my mind.
It's still a tool though. It's a tool, but you have to use it with balance. The military, even I've just been trained on how to can basically, long story short, conduct certain trainings and scenarios with AI, or with not with AI,
you telling me about
with
that.
virtual reality. You put it on your head, you're immersed in this world. You have like a gun, a real essentially functioning gun, right? Not a real gun, but it's pretty much for the most part like the real thing, right? It functions like a real gun, and you're in this virtual reality world, and you train that way, and
that's crazy.
There's benefits to it, right? But it takes balance. We can't only train that way. We still have to train in these other ways, right? The traditional ways, the repetitions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do the real deal. But
it's all about balance. I think everything is about balance.
Right.
You can't say left. You can't say right. You can't say hot. Whatever. I think it's absolutely everything is about balance. That's why we got to meet people in the middle.
Right.
Not even just say like, I am a moderate. I'm an independent thinker. You know, politically. Like, no, who gives a fuck about the labels? Like, just have common sense. Let's just have balance with the most things and do the things that make the most fucking sense.
Right. Together, without being overly fucking sensitive to shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, but it's just like, it's always just a battle. It's like, it doesn't matter how you look at it. You can use your kids as an example. You can use the freaking politics as an example. You can use your workplace in the example. You're gonna find in every situation there's just like a lot of oversensitive ass shit going on, making the rodeo more difficult than it needs to be. And I feel like that's a fucking shame, especially with like where we are today. Like, I know times are like hard too, like I get it, but it's just like we have a lot of shit today that we didn't have. So we've come a long way. So I feel like people almost get like, they get like complacent. And I feel like because of that, that makes it, because I think that even probably happened to me. Like, you just get kind of like complacent in your situation. You learn how to be miserable, or not learn how to be miserable. You start being miserable about things, and then that makes you sensitive to shit that you probably don't even need to be sensitive.
Everybody does. It's all about being, well, you have to be self-aware. That's something that's not really taught on a mass scale in society. It's taught, but on a mass scale, certain people are taught this, right? Certain people learn this, but as a global, like nationwide, we're not really like taught to be self-aware.
Yeah.
Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of your feelings. Analyze those feelings, those thoughts, you know.
Yeah, because like the other day, like I was leaving freaking Aldi's. I was coming from the damn grocery store, and like we were pulling out of the parking lot, and there was somebody who was pulling from the other side of the road from incoming traffic, and it was inching in before like just pulling out, you know, into traffic. And because a car was coming up and started slowing down, like the lady in the car, she was just like raging, like just mad, like cussing and beeping and stuff. It's like she couldn't even be aware of the situation. I feel like because she wasn't aware of the situation, she acted like an ass. She looked like an ass. It's just like,
it's
and it's
ignorance.
Like, why? And it's like, I think that I get being sensitive, you know, like we all do it, but it's just like some people are just like, shut the heck up. Like they just don't, it's just like they're looking for problems or some shit. And it really bugs me.
And some people are, and they don't even realize it.
It's just like, it's honestly a sad story. I mean, do you think like we are raising like stronger minded individuals?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because of
I do think the kids are like sensitive though, but I mean like they're like catered to a lot. I feel like they don't know the struggles like we know
and
them.
They don't need to know the struggles like I experienced them, right? they have their own challenges. And
Right, true.
I'll instill strength in them in my own way. You don't have to grow up in an abusive environment or grow up poor to understand struggle, I think.
But I don't think that you do, but I do think that you need to experience like being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like that helps you like get through things with
Yeah.
a better train
And they
of
do.
thought. You know what I mean?
And they do.
So
We put them through uncomfortable things.
yeah, we do. But I see that some I've even had friends where they don't. They just baby their kids, and it's just like, bro.
They're just, I don't know. Maybe ignorant them. They're ignorant themselves on that. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they are ignorant themselves.
Everybody's ignorant, but
because like when you try to say something to them, like, and you know what's crazy to me too is just like I've tried to say something to like people about something that I think that they're doing wrong, and they'll want to be like getting all pissed off about that shit when you try to like give them constructive criticism. But then like when they do it to you, they expect you to just listen to them and take what they're saying like they're fucking right. They don't know how to like have like agree to disagree, you know? They don't know how to like agree to disagree with, you know, maybe you don't agree with what they're saying, you know what I mean? You don't have to agree with somebody with what someone's saying. Like y'all this person can think that freaking the sky is blue, and this person can think that it's royal fucking blue. Like who gives a shit? It's blue. Like who gives a shit? But somebody will be mad that they're trying to be told that it's this, and they're mad that the other person's trying to tell them it's this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like people are just like, and they're just being like sensitive asses instead of just being like, you know what, this is just dumb as hell. Like,
that's why the world
it's like
needs
a waste
leaders.
of time.
You know, that's why there's a balance, and I'm all about freedom and things like that. But there's hierarchies.
Oh yeah.
And certain aspects that are needed. In certain aspects that are needed, right? I'm about freedom, do your own thing, right? But the world needs the people that are in that hierarchy above them as a leader. People need leaders. They need the people that are able to, unfortunately, they need them to be able to think outside the box, to critically think for the people, to open their eyes, to think and speak how we're thinking and speaking, and enlighten the people and lead them in that way.
Yeah, but
confidence.
you and I both know that shit is not fucking going on. Like,
it is in certain aspects, right? Just the fact, though, we are having certain conversations.
Yeah.
Let you know that it is.
Yeah.
It may not be going on in certain levels on CNN or whatever, but it is going on various different levels in some way, right? Even Donald Trump, he's a leader. He's leading the people. He's against certain things in the big establishment, right? He's not the perfect person, right? He's not the perfect person. He doesn't make always make the perfect decisions, but he is a leader that's leading people against the establishment, the conformity, and things like that.
Right. Which I think that I like that in him, because I feel like.
Which right now we're in a storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in a storm, and
this shit is bad.
The calm will come.
Fucking bad.
Right?
But yeah, no, I believe in what he can do, and
because if we kept going, there has to be a storm. There has to be a storm. There has to be rain. If we keep going down the same route, nothing is gonna change.
Yeah.
People are just keep going. Nothing's gonna change. There has to be something to ruffle the feathers. There has to be a storm. There has to be a bunch of rain before the shit will grow. Like, there has to be something that's gonna stir up the pot. It has to be that way. You can't just.
Yeah.
If we would have voted, like, this is just me personally. If we would have voted for Kamala, like, what would we have gotten?
Yeah.
The same thing as Biden. The same thing. Right?
Literally.
The same thing.
Which wasn't helping us
Think
at
about
all
that.
either.
Oh, some people might be cool.
It wasn't. It wasn't
the same
helping.
thing.
Yeah, literally.
Right? At least we're
It
getting
wasn't-
something different.
Yeah.
We're going down a different route. We're
Yeah.
trying to figure out things in a different way. I don't 100% agree with everything Donald Trump is doing, or maybe I just don't fully understand the bigger picture. But for the most part, I support him over what could have been.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm a firm believer in change. But I feel like even with that topic, you can't even fucking discuss politics without somebody getting their feelings hurt. Like, I know there's been numerous, like, conversations that you've had to have on social media with people who just, like, they have a fixed way of thinking, and they're just sensitive.
Well, social media
to
is
shit.
hard to have conversations on, too, though, because unless you're,
But
like...
as long as we've had...
Unless you're talking... Because right now, there's a body language aspect... There's a verbal, there's a tone aspect, right? There's a I know you, you know me aspect. But on social media, I don't know anything about this other person. The only thing I know is like what the little picture in their name says and what they type. There's so much context lost.
Yeah, so they use the I'm offended shit to get you to just shut the fuck up, basically, so they can win and be, my feelings are fucking hurt, because they're behind a damn screen.
Or they may not say I'm offended, but they may say that they're offended in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like some people, I feel like
Which
a lot
is
of people,
fine. You can say you're offended, I guess, you know.
Yeah, but these motherfuckers be, like, going out of their way. They'll be like, I'm a stalk your house or something. Like, the stuff that I see on social media is freaking mind-blowing. Like, with just, like, the people just...
Now, when you hear people, when people do certain things like that, I'm gonna stalk your house, or they start insulting you or whatever the fuck. I've had people, like, insult me or try to, like, say, like, insult my eyebrows. Like, I know, like... Okay, I pluck my eyebrows. I pluck my eyebrows. Okay, whatever, right?
I still look good. My wife like it.
But you try to find something about the person to insult them. Obviously, they're not thinking clearly. They're not thinking rationally, right?
And that's the kind of, like, sensitivity that I don't like, that I see in the world, that I feel like could freaking change. Because, like, being a sensitive ass bully, that shit is lame as hell. That's lame as hell. And there's a lot of people who do that behind a screen, where if they were, like, standing in a building with you, they probably wouldn't do the same shit that they would do behind a screen. So I also feel like sometimes social media, like, gives people an outlet or a safe space to be sensitive. You know what I mean? Like,
gives us all that space.
Yeah. So it's just like sometimes you can, nut up and say.
But that's when you go to search, what platform do you want to be on, right? Social media gives us that space, but as a certain opinion on a certain platform going to get you canceled, get your post taken down, right? That's why I deactivated my Instagram account. I only have an X account, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I never really use X that much. Like, is it different from, like, how people are acting on, like, Instagram, for instance, or do you still, like,
different.
find... Yeah, like, what...
You have different like-minded people on there. It's the new Twitter. It is Twitter with a different name, right? Different idea. Like, people have left X or Twitter just like me leaving Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah. So it's just like...
It's in my opinion, it's truly just American. It's about freedom of speech.
Yeah.
To say what the fuck you want, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
If what you're saying is, like, actually irrational, like, it's not logical, like, you're talking about fucking killing and murdering people, like, okay, X will ban you.
Yeah. And they should.
They will cancel you.
But there'll still be people, like, that'll be fucking, like, talking about...
I wanted to murder Donald Trump and X banned me.
Yeah.
Like, that's an extreme example, but, like, people will complain about certain shit like that. Like, no, we're gonna ban you.
Yeah, you should
it's not common sense.
Not be saying that shit. But
everything else within, like, you're not harming nobody. Say what the fuck you want to say.
Nah.
I think that bitch is fat. Okay.
Dude, that's what Kanye West was, he literally on his
say.
shit, like, going off, because he's like, I ain't hiring no fat bitches, or some shit like that, he said. But it's just like, it's
And I don't agree.
speech.
I don't agree with that, right? But maybe he just, that's his business motto. I don't know.
He ain't gonna hire me. That's fine. But you know what I mean? Like,
But what
at
does he
the same
consider
time,
fat? But whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, I like the fact that he can be himself and he isn't sensitive to just, like, certain shit. Oh, we gotta have a little editing real quick in real time. There we go. Oops. Water spill. But, I just feel like certain people need to, little ASMR for you. I feel like people need to lighten up a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't really even use Instagram like that. Like, I don't, but I mean, I don't understand how it's different from using Twitter, because like on Twitter you have to go on there and follow people too, and in Instagram the things that you like and you follow, that like creates what your algorithm is. So you would think like both of the platforms kind of operate the same.
No,
it's kind
but
of crazy that it
you
doesn't. You
gotta.
know?
One thing we gotta all understand is people have different education levels, this and that, whatever the fuck, right? But at the end of the day, we're all people.
Yeah.
Instagram is ran by people. People set the algorithms for Instagram. People set the algorithms for YouTube and Facebook and blah, 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 and X. And we all kind of know where Elon Musk stands generally, politically, ideologically, whatever, you know, with his ideology in general, right? And, you know, he's in the Trump administration, right? It only makes sense that his platform is different than the other platforms, right? Everything is ran by people. So that's why, you know, I kind of think it's no mistake. There's no really, there may be coincidences here and there, maybe, right? But there's no coincidence. There's a reason that you're able to have more free speech on X versus other platforms. It's because you're allowed to.
Yeah. And you should have somewhere that you should be able to express yourself. Like, you should be able to have a safe space to be whoever the fuck you want to be. Even if you're fucking sensitive, you should still be able to have somewhere you can, like, have an outlet to just do that shit. But at the same time, I guess one thing that we all have to accept as people who are coexisting with one another is that we gotta be okay with motherfuckers just being asses and just saying shit and just doing stuff. Like, we literally just have to be able to wipe that sweat off of our brow and not even entertain certain shit. Like, there's certain things, like...
Well, that takes maturity and confidence.
Right. But even for me, sometimes, even in the car...
Even for me.
Somebody, like, cuts me off, and I'm like...
But still,
you know? But, yeah.
Where I lack in that aspect, on the road, somebody does something, pisses me off, even today, right?
Oh,
coming back from the temple, you know, meditating, somebody did it really, like, annoyed me.
Yeah.
But it's still in the back of my mind, though. I could acknowledge on some level, I need to calm down.
Right.
You got to be able to do that. But
you could have, like, been super fucking, like, got your feelings out, the wave in the air, and been like, you know what I mean? Act off of that, and then what comes from that? Negative. And I feel like a lot of that shit is going on. I wish that we were in a situation where people could work together to realize that a lot of us, honestly, even though we have a lot of differences, we kind of have the same common goals as far as surviving here. Like, and we need to learn how to fucking just, like, survive together despite our differences and shit, without letting our feelings get the best of us in situations that are just fucking uncontrollable. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain things that we can't control, even somebody who's just trying to pull out.
Because at the end of the day, like, just take a step back and look at it. Like, are we all just no? Are we all just trying to survive? Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, literally. Like, we're all just trying to do the same thing.
I'm from
ultimately.
Venezuela. Like, I'm just trying to survive.
Swear.
I'm just trying to
I
live
don't
a
give a
good
damn
life
where
and raise
you're
my
from.
kids and have wisdom and like it
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And sometimes you just need to freaking just learn how to get along with that person that has a difference from you, because at the end of the day, your goals are probably similar in nature as far as just surviving. Like,
And
we're
that's why
all
we need
fighting
leaders.
the fight.
That's why we need people to be leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We need, historically, people always need leaders.
Yeah, because you got to have the bad. Like, when you said the storm, like, you got to have the bad. Even, like, disciplining your kids, we'll save that discussion for another episode. But, like, even discipline, you have to have balance. You have to. It just creates, like, it keeps things going in a certain way that is beneficial. It can't just always just be like, la, 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 la. Like, no, it doesn't fucking work that way. That's not
Nature
realistic.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's like, we need...
There's seasons.
Yeah.
Everything works in seasons. It's hot. It's cold. It's springtime. It's fall time. Like, there's a storm. Oh, you know, then the crops, like, there's... Everything is like this at all times.
Mm-hmm.
The yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like that.
Yeah.
We got to see that. We got to be able to have peace with that and find that balance.
Yeah, for real. Finding balance.
And it's hard to always articulate.
It is.
But
a lot of us...
Everything is balanced. That's
including...
where I stand.
No, yeah, I agree. A lot of us, though, need to learn how to deal with certain situations in a better light and just shut the fuck up and take the good punches with the bad punches. Somebody might be having a bad day. Shut the hell up. Go to hell on. Keep having a good day. You know,
Because at
bring
the end of the day,
energy.
If I don't know you're having a bad day, you say some shit to me, this is how I should be.
Fucking motherfucker.
Chill out. Relax. You know, however you deal with it, I go about my way, right?
Relax. Yeah.
That only affects you.
Yeah.
I'm still cool.
Yeah. And you know what? But if you if you react.
And then I understand this person's having a bad day or they're on
or
some
just
level.
make your sense
like,
of
let
it.
me
Don't
just
be
have...
too fucking sensitive, bro. Like, just make your sense of that shit and
don't get caught up with your
ego.
emotions. Yeah, your
ego. A lot of people have their fucking big ass ego.
Too much of
too.
your ego, your emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you have too much of a big ego, you haven't developed enough humility or confidence.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses, I don't know. I'm not going to get into conversation right now, but yeah.
You gotta humble yourself out here. But, I mean, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna be interacting with people and their negativity. At least I try not to. I know that nobody's perfect, and I'm not gonna claim to be perfect. I know shit happens, but I think sensitivity is a real thing that's going on. I think people overkill it to a certain extent, and I think that, you know, like you said, I agree, there needs to be like a balance and shit. And I don't know, I want to see good things happening, because we have our kids and shit growing up, and I just want to see more of people working together for a common goal, because I feel like we all have a common goal, you know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck if anybody agrees with me or doesn't agree with me. Fucking cancel my ass, I don't give a shit. But that's just what I see it as. It's my opinions, my feelings, you know, and yeah, it is what it is. We said what the fuck we said. So, I guess we're going to freaking end it there. If you're ready to end it there, we had our conversation.
Don't be too sensitive.
Don't be too fucking sensitive. And if you are sensitive, post your shit in the comments. We read all of your comments. We want to hear what you have to say. What do you think?
Sensitivity is okay. Don't be too sensitive.
Don't be a bitch, bro. Don't be a fucking bitch, bro.
Well, that too. Okay.
Or bitch, I don't care. Don't be a bitch. God dang it.
Well, we love you.
We love you. Peace out, A-Town down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. See us on the next episode of This Might Get Us Canceled.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, we got more to come. So, like, subscribe. Planning on making videos every week. We'll kind of see how that goes. We're just two parents freaking starting a podcast. If you want to tag along or comment or like or share your opinions or whatever, that's what this is for. If you don't like criticism and any of that shit, this probably is not going to be a good place for you, because we don't give a fuck about none of that shit. We feel how we feel. You can feel how the fuck you feel. We respect all aspects of it, but we're going to say what the hell we need to say, whether you like it or not. If you're offended, you can take a ticket and have a seat in the motherfucking back.
But you know why?
We don't care.
Why we can say what we say? Because this is America, bitch.
America, bitch. Yeah, so.
The land of the free. The home of the brave.
Yeah. All right, with that being said, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Adios.